already know who it is. It's your boy.
What's going on, sports fans? JD here at JD Sports Talk, and today I have a very special guest back here with us, draft expert Stephen Fox, back by popular demand. We did the mock draft, the final mock draft, the night before the NBA draft, and just thought it would be perfect to have Stephen Fox back to do a recap and review. Foxy, how are you feeling today?
I'm feeling great. Thanks for having me back. Greatly appreciated. Also, congrats. Watched you on Knicks Fan TV with CP last night. Fantastic show. And I'm really excited about talking about the Knicks draft.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. And thank you guys for joining us today. And I hope you liked the video. Hope you like the excellent breakdown that Foxy is about to present to you guys. And if this is your first time, please make sure that you consider subscribing. You like the video if you enjoy this content, and leave a comment and I'll make sure to respond. So let's get right to it. Foxy, what was your overall thoughts of this wild, eventful, emotional roller coaster? Any words you want to say? What was your thoughts on overall on this NBA draft?
It was probably one of the most bizarre drafts, or the most bizarre draft that I've ever experienced. I have to check if I have a bald spot from scratching my head from whether taking Scotty Barnes over Jalen Suggs or Davion Mitchell, and you have D Fox and Halliburton, but also the biggest one is Primo with Spurs.
Yeah,
that was a huge reach for me, man. I was shocked.
And even Giddey going number 6. You didn't even
want me the last show.
You didn't want to put him 10. It was hard for you to put him 10, and he went 6. He went what, 6? I think it was 6. He went
6. Yeah, wow. I was like, wow. So wow.
It
was the most bizarre draft I've ever experienced.
It was definitely wild. I'm taking it. Primo was your most surprised pick.
Absolutely, without question.
Real quick, do you think he's at a good spot with the Spurs?
They have a great development, and I think because of where they are, that team, they'll be patient with him and develop him. He has great athleticism, and now if that athleticism can be, transferred to productivity. But I had him as a second round grade. I didn't have him late first round. That's why I was shocked.
Another quick one, Cooper. Thoughts on what ended up happening to him last night?
I think it goes back to our, he's a defensive liability, and you can't shoot, you can't finish. So the NBA, that's the wrong traits to have. So I thought, where he ended up is where he should have ended up. But I'm happy
at 20.
For the kid.
It's funny how he ended up. It was at 20, and he still went there, but in the second round. It's crazy.
Exactly. And to the team that I thought both of us said was probably the best development area, the Hawks, where he could use his skills to get into the hole, kick it out to the team of great shooters.
Yeah, awesome. Let's get right to the Knicks selection here with the 25th overall pick, Quentin Grimes. I think it was a solid pick. I think that, this pick where he was selected is where I projected Quentin Grimes to be. When you're talking about even if the Clips would have kept the pick, you had the Lakers, you had the Bucks, you had Utah. Like, I think that range where you have teams that are contending teams, Quentin Grimes is an attractive prospect for those teams. What is your overall thoughts? Give me some strengths, give me some areas of improvement, and what type of player are the New York Knicks getting in Quentin Grimes?
Yeah, I agree with you. Our last show, I had him going in a late first round, and so he was in the absolute range that I thought he'd go. Fantastic pickup by the Knicks. Tough kid, as we talked about. You have to be a special person to play in the Garden. This kid went to Kansas, was a 5-star recruit, didn't work out there, went to Houston, refined his game, went from a point guard, combo guard to a 3-and-D, and it worked out well. He worked on a shot. He's a 3-point sniper. If you watch the combine, probably the person who benefited the most out of anyone. Really a physical kid, which Tibbs and the New York fans love. Crashes the boards on offense, and on defense, he squares up beautifully, excellent lateral movement, covering on defenders. He's absolutely a beast on defense. So two-way player, and I think it was a great pickup for the Knicks.
Awesome, excellent. One of the most attractive things for me is his rebounding for his position. I think that'll be huge for the Knicks and for Tom Thibodeau. Give me a few areas of improvement that we, as Knicks fans, we should monitor. We're going to see him soon here in the Summer League. So what are some of the things that may stand out?
Yeah, he's a sniper from three, but he really needs to work on his mid-range game. He virtually has no runner or floater game, so that's something he needs to work on. He has to tighten his handles. That was the reason pretty much why it didn't work out at Kansas as a point guard. He has to work on his handles, especially going to his left. He can't go to his left, and part of that's because of his handles on his left hand. I don't know if it's a weak hand or something they have to work on, but he exclusively, if you watch the film on him, he everything goes to the right. And that's not something you need, once the NBA defenders know that, they're going to try to take that away. And he, even though he has elite lateral, or very good, I wouldn't say elite, but good lateral movement, he necessarily doesn't have the greatest burst. So he has sometimes issues with separation. But I think absolutely from coaching and as his handles tighten, that'll get better. And just from a playmaking passing, he's not really an instinctual player for that part. He gets flustered with traps, but I think with good coaching, again, that'll come around. But I think this was a great pick. Being a real tough defender right out of the chute as a rookie and being able to light it up from three like he can. He's very, very good off screens. He's very, very good. He can create a shot for one or two dribbles and mostly going to his right. But I think it was a great pickup.
And real quick, is there a player that he reminds you of in terms of player comparison? I know I don't like to do player comparisons, but just for fun, is there a player that he reminds you of?
From a shooting perspective, actually, Allen Houston, he has a real smooth stroke, and I always loved Allen Houston's stroke, his form and everything. So there's a little Allen Houston when I watched his game for his 3-point. Now as he tightened up that mid-range, but he has a beautiful, picture perfect stroke.
So a smile in my face. Allen Houston's my favorite Knick of all time. So you just made my day, Foxy. I love to hear that. All right. So now we're going to go to the Deuce. He likes to be called Deuce. Miles McBride from West Virginia. 20 years old. I thought it was another value pick. Second round. There were some reports that say he wasn't even going to last past 32. The Knicks maybe would have gotten him at 32. Knicks continue to trade down and still get another Tom Thibodeau type player. If you can tell me what are some of the strengths for Miles McBride, what's your thoughts on the type of player the Knicks are getting and areas of improvement?
Tibbs, his teammates, the New York fans are going to love this kid. This is a dog with a capital D. He is tenacious from full court. He is just relentless. And the defenders, you watch the film against Cade, they get flustered. The turnovers, whether, traveling or bad passes, he just gets into their head that this guy won't stop. His motor is crazy. He's on top of me with that 6'9" wingspan. He's really, and he has elite lateral speed. So on defense, the one thing that killed us and killed everybody, at least, was Trae Young, penetration, that speed. This kid can cut off so many people. He cut off them penetrating and forced them into pull-ups, and that changes everything. It's not as high a percentage shot. So that he's very, very good on D. He brings a different dimension after the Elfrid Payton days that we experienced. This is a 3-level scorer. He can get to the hole. He has a beautiful mid-range game. Go left, right. He has a beautiful step-back mid-range, and he shot over 41% from three. So when you have those three elements, that's something that this Knicks team needed badly. He's a bull. He's really strong, and I think he's going to be a much, much better playmaker in the pros than he was in college. And I think a lot of it has to do with the offensive scheme, but he has a real good feel for the game and IQ.
Awesome, man. Real quick, what are some areas of improvement for him?
Finishing. He's 6'2". He'll have had some issues in college with the length, in the size and length in the paint, but everyone in the NBA does at that point. It's strange that he has elite lateral quickness, but he doesn't have really a great burst or first step. So he'll need to work on that. And the other things are totally coachable. On watching film on him, he's overly aggressive in the passing lane. So sometimes he gambles way too much, but that can be coached. And a lot of times he watches the ball too much. So there was too many backdoors on him. But again, with our great coaching, that'll be fixed. But absolutely, right out of the shoot, he's going to be a dynamic defender. And he can hit the three. He can do so much stuff. So I see him getting a lot of minutes for a rookie.
Awesome. And few quick things. You said Trae Young. He was actually asked about Trae Young already. He's not even hasn't played a game yet. He had his player interview today. He's asked about Trae Young, and I liked his response saying that, hey, gave Trae Young his respect, but say I'm a competitor. I look forward to the challenge. I like to hear that. And the other positive is you mentioned Cade, and he went up against other top level talent, and he always played well against them. I think that's a positive for Knicks fans to look forward to.
Yeah, watch him against Davion Mitchell, who's supposed to be one of the fastest people in a while. He gave him a lot of trouble with that. All he could handle.
Awesome. Now we're going to go on to the next player here, Rokas Jokubaitis. Okay. Rokas, 20 years old, 6'4", and from Lithuania. It's my understanding. A lot of us are eager to learn from this kid. Foxy, what's your overall thoughts on this guy? Is he a draft and stash player?
Absolutely. So, we won't see him for a while, but he reminds me of Goran from the Heat.
Goran Dragic.
Yeah. Real slick, left hand, smooth, not very overly athletic, uses his savvy, he has things to work on, but he's young. As you see, he's 20 years old, but he's one of the best penetrators in this draft, which is a Tibbs type of player, and kicking it out to three-point shooting. So his shooting's improving, and he has some areas of improvement. He's just an average athlete, so he has some issues with separation. He's very left-hand dominant. You won't see him finish with his right hand or really pass much with his right hand, and he lacks physicality of getting over screens, watching his film. But those are areas with coaching that I think will serve him well, especially getting another year of seasoning in Europe.
Awesome. And I do want to say very quickly, Foxy, I think it is at least notable that they picked him ahead of McBride, which tells me that the scouting department saw something in him to go ahead, taking the risk of McBride being selected in the next few picks thereafter. They went ahead and picked him first. I do think that's at least notable for their scouting. So looking forward to seeing what happens in the next few years. And on to number 58, Jericho Sims. What's your thoughts on him? A lot of people had him go a lot earlier than this, so maybe this is a value pick.
It is a value pick. There's another kid that really benefited from the combine. Everybody for eternity will remember him banging his forehead up on the rim because of his athleticism and bounce. Good shot blocker, good rim protector, incredible motor, very good lateral speed for a big. I mean, in college he was covering guards on switches. I don't know if we'll do that in the NBA, but definitely see him from 2 to 4 and a finisher. As you see, 70% from field goals, so very Mitch like. He's gonna, you get him. He's very good on the roll, on the pick and roll, him finishing. So that's really good. But he's very, very raw. As you see, he has a 1 to 2 turnover to assist to turnover. So his issues when he's in the post, he has lots of problems. Once that ball comes in, him kicking out, he's inaccurate with his passes. He gets nervous. He turns it over. He walks. and on screens, there's no finesse to this kid's game. He's a beast. So you watch the film, there's kids that offensive fouls from him setting screens so violently that the kids go into the fourth row, and but, no shooting, no jumper. As you see, 52% foul shooter. So
it's gonna take time.
Yeah, but he's a body, and like you said, he's going to be take time, and I could see him in the G League. But you can't teach athleticism and lateral speed, so it's something it's a good project.
Yeah, we saw Nick Claxton there picked with the Nets, and it took him time, and he has a lot of raw. He's still raw in many areas, and he found his way to getting some playing time for the Nets. So maybe Jericho Sims has a similar path to getting NBA minutes in at least a year or two. We'll see. Foxy, this was amazing breakdown on each and every one of these New York Knicks picks. If I can get your last words on overall. I know there's a lot of even criticism out there of what they did with the earlier picks. If you could just quickly give me your last thoughts on what transpired.
Yeah, I don't think, if you take a step back, like I said, if you weren't enamored with Kai Jones taking a big at 19 or 21, then I don't think there's another player that you could really say, why would you, that is so much greater than Quentin Grimes or a Miles McBride. So I'm really happy with the draft, but I do have this gut feeling that something else is going to happen. So whether a trade and what we're going to see in free agency. So this is one piece of the puzzle. So from Rose and World Wide West, I think they have this big plan, and as a fan, this is going to get crazy over the next couple of weeks. The craziness will continue, but I'm excited. I'm really looking forward to seeing how this roster evolves.
And I know we don't want to hear it, and many fans don't want to hear the word patience. And I'm not saying be patient in years, but we at least have to be patient for the next few months. Free agency's next week. So let's see what the full plan is. Sometimes certain phases are complementary parts of the next move. Maybe these two picks look better when you look at what the roster is at the end of this offseason. Or maybe they don't. But we at least have to give the front office the time and opportunity to act and attack. And so,
agree with you 100%.
Yeah. And so let's see what happens. Guys, thank you for tuning in. Please, if you like this video, please subscribe, leave a comment. Let me know. Do you agree with these picks? Do you disagree? What do you think is going to happen next? I'm JD. This is Stephen Fox, and I'll see you around in the next video.